Thank you for tuning in to Tanaka TV, the best and future biggest fight channel on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like, that comment, that subscribe button. We're trying to get this channel to over 2K by the end of the year, but this channel cannot do that. We cannot do that without your support. So thank you for those who support this channel, and thank you for those who will support this channel in the future. I truly appreciate it. Now, I'm going to try to keep my energy up for this video. There have been a lot of things outside of the YouTube world that I have been trying to keep up with. My workload is usually pretty heavy as an English teacher here in Japan. And so bear with me. I'm trying to keep the pressure on this YouTube grind. So, like I said, just bear with me. But today, we're going to talk about Nick Diaz's return to the UFC. Now, when I saw this, initially my reaction was very excited, but I had to let this information settle into my head, right? Especially because he's going up against a guy, Vicente Luque, who is not a slouch, okay, people? He's not somebody that you can just look past. But the last time Nick Diaz has fought was in 2021. So that was about 3 years ago, and he went against Robbie Lawler. Before that, he went up against Anderson Silva in 2015. So when you look at the opponents that Nick that Nick Diaz has gone up against, that should tell you how long it's been since Nick Diaz has really been a consistent fighter. His last fight was in 2021. He lost against Robbie Lawler. Then he went against Anderson Silva in 2015. He lost. He went against George St. Pierre in 2013. He lost. He went up against Carlos Condit in 2012, and he lost. So we're talking about, okay, in the Anderson Silva fight, it says no contest. It was overturned. But you know how that fight went, right? And when you look at Nick Diaz, he is... How old is Nick Diaz? He is... Give me 1 second. Nick Diaz he was born in 83, so what is that? That makes him... If you were born in 83, how old are you? How old are you, people? Okay, how old does that make you? 40 years old. So, like I said, my initial reaction of Nick Diaz coming back to the UFC was, oh, I'm hype, right? Because Nick Diaz has had some legendary fights. Look, people, we cannot gloss over the fact that he's had some legendary fights. When he went up against BJ Penn, that was, I remember that fight like it was yesterday, but it was in 2011. Okay, Paul Daly, legendary fight. He was on a good winning streak for a while. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This man was on an 11 fight win streak. We cannot gloss over how legendary this man is. And you got to remember, he was fighting back in like Pride times, okay? He's been in the game for a minute, I'm sure as all of you know. I'm sure I'm just singing to the choir right now. You guys know. But I'm saying all this to say that we are now in 2024. And will we see prime Nick Diaz ever again? Sadly, I don't think so. I mean, even his younger brother, Nate Diaz, I don't even think we'll see the prime of him. And so if we're talking about the older brother and him going up against Vicente Luque, who, like I said, you can't really look over him. Like, the last time he won was in 2023, and he fought Rafael dos Anjos, which is, okay, you beat Rafael. Rafael is kind of on his way out too. He's kind of an older fighter. He is an OG in his own right, but not as much as a Nick Diaz, right? He lost up against Bilal Muhammad, but he did beat Michael Chiesa. He did beat Tyron Woodley. Nico Price, Mike Perry. He's got some decent fighters under his belt. And with Vicente Luque. How old is Vicente? Let's see how old he is. He is 32. So he's actually what I would consider in the prime age of a fighter. And with that being said, he's not a slouch. So if I had to guess who would win this fight, I would give it to Vicente. If this was 10 years ago, I might be singing a different story. But because Nick Diaz is 40 years old, it's really hard for me to put Nick Diaz on the advantage side here, especially being that I kind of remember his last performance. His last performance, he kind of, if I remember correctly, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but Nick Diaz kind of quit because of damage. He doesn't have the same chin. And with a Diaz quitting because of damage, that's a huge statement. The Diazes were known for being able to push the pace and being able to take damage and keep going forward and melt their opponents. With Nick Diaz, I'm saying, and Nate Diaz. Those two are known to be able to melt their opponents and put on a pressure that the other fighter could not keep up with. That was such a huge leverage for them. And with that being taken away because of Father Time beats us all, people. It beats us all. Some of us can fight it off better than others, but it beats us all in the end. That gives me the thought of him not being able to withstand the damage that Vicente is probably going to put on him. Now, Nick Diaz, I don't worry about his cardio. I think his cardio is going to be there. But for me, I think the thing that fades very quickly for fighters is durability. Now, strength, I don't think that weighs as you get older as fast. Speed and snappiness, that kind of goes slowly, but durability, in my mind, is one of the first things to go when it comes to aging as a professional athlete, especially as a combat athlete. You're seeing LeBron James still do his thing at almost the age of 40, and he's still competing at a high level. But he's not a combat athlete. He's not taking punches and kicks, and he's not being choked, and all of those crazy things that come with being an MMA fighter. He is not enduring that. And so it's not even remotely the same. And so, how do I see this fight going? Unfortunately, I see Nick Diaz unfortunately being put away. If he can survive through this fight, good on him. If he can win this fight, very good on him. At this stage, at this time, unfortunately, I just don't see it happening. Like I said, I'm happy to see his name pop back up in the UFC news feed. However, I don't think it's going to be a positive outcome for him. Besides the money he's probably going to make from it, because people are going to tune in to watch. That's one thing about the Diaz, is they are extremely entertaining. And so, tell me what you guys think about this, about Nick Diaz coming back. Do you have him winning? What do you think about this? Should he just permanently hang up the gloves? I mean, 40 years old, once you start seeing the fours in people's age, I don't know. That's exactly why I said what I said in the Mike Tyson video, as somebody who's about to be 60. And so, once you get to a certain point, Father Time starts kicking in. And so, like I said, comment down below what you think about this. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.